What's up YouTube, Dad here with Wargames, bringing you an updated Invoked Mekk-knight deck profile with of course the return of Super Poly, and you can see the new inclusion of Invoked Elysium in our extra deck. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through this profile, show you exactly what you've got and explain why we've got it. So let's get started. So with the main monster count we go with triple Alistair, the Invoker of course, quite straightforward and simple on that one, no less. We would play more if we could. Triple Ash Blossom, double Droll, double Ogre, triple Gamma, and one Driver. Now, even though we've got Mekk-knights, we do want to disrupt our opponent as much as possible and get them to go, cool, I can't really do a lot, I'm going to set as much as I can and pass my turn, so that when we go, we can use and abuse our Mekk-knights to OTK our opponent and finish the game off. Which is why we play triple purple, double blue, one red, and one indigo. Now obviously the issue with blue is that he can only search cards in the exact number into the opposing player's column. So he can get ogred. If he gets ogred, you don't get a resolution because it's no longer in the column to count. And then on top of that, if you put him in a column that has two Mekk-knights and you can't search himself, you have to make sure that two of these are still in your deck. So he's only useful about once, maybe twice in a game if you're very, very lucky. So playing him at 2 is more than enough. Then we move on to the spells. As you can see, a very straightforward monster lineup. Mekk-knights for the damage, hand traps for the disruption, and of course your normal summon for Alistair for those all-powerful extra monsters. Onto the spells, of course, we've still got the engage engine because it is too powerful not to play. Triple engage, single widow anchor can be put at 2 if you wish. The one drones, because that is what it's at. The one afterburners and the one jamming waves. Now jamming waves is to get past any monsters that can't be targeted. Afterburners is there to get rid of any troublesome back row like anti-spell, or of course Gozen Match and Rivalry, which quite a few anti-meta decks are starting to run. And trust me, Gozen and Rivalry shut this deck down hard. For the other spells, of course, we've got triple Magical Meltdown, double Terraforming, double Invocation, double Mind Control, double Call by the Grave, the single Book of the Law, Monster Reborn, and of course the return of Super Poly. Now, you can play card destruction in this deck if you wish. The reason you would play card destruction, so that your first turn you're not losing 2 cards from your hand, in the sense that what you would do is you would get all of your combo pieces ready, normal summon your Alistair, search out your invocation, set your invocation, activate card destruction, get rid of any dead cards in your hand, or of course get rid of any attributes that you would like into the grave to get 3 fresh new ones. Then of course it also forces your opponent to send cards from their hand to the graveyard as well, which means you have a first turn play with any of your fusion monsters that the attributes are there for, without having to overextend or lose more cards. It actually keeps you at a plus rather than at a minus, because of course if you don't already have one in grave or have a way of getting one to grave, of course you are losing 2 cards from your hand basically when you play the invocation. So Super Poly can be very, very useful, and so can card destruction. Super Poly is there to break U-links because it can get you into the Invoked Elysium, and of course it can use and abuse and even disrupt your opponent. If they normal summon a monster of an attribute that you can use and abuse, like a light monster or something like that, activate Super Poly, discard a card, take that monster, send that to the graveyard, use your invoked monster, or of course any monster that meets the requirements, and make that onto the board, and you've disrupted your opponent straight up and then. Straight into the extra deck, of course, we've got the one Elysium. Now, Elysium is very, very specific because it's one invoked monster, so including one monster that was special summoned from the extra deck. So if your opponent goes Isolde, for example, and you've got a mech bar, if you've already negated, let's say you negate one of the search effects, or you negate something off of mech bar, then you activate Super Poly, discard a card, you get to use their Isolde on field, and your invoked mech bar, and go into Elysium. Elysium then turns everything into the same attribute, so that when in Nilly, you can use this card to nuke the board. So you target one invoked monster you control or in the graveyard during either player's turn, banish it, and all monsters your opponent controls to the same attribute. So this, because it treats as all attributes, if you haven't got the exact attribute engraved, you tribute this guy off, nuke the board completely, which is very, very good and powerful. We've got the one Caligart. Now the reason I like playing Caligart is because against going up Sky Strikers, Ray is a dark, so you can banish their Ray and they will really, really struggle with that. On top of that, Caligar can very, very much slow down your opponent because your opponent can only activate one monster effect per turn and only attack with one monster a turn. So can you, of course. It stops Multi-Faker because Multi-Faker special summons itself and can't special summon out Seal Coitus. It stops, if they use Ray's effect to tribute itself off to bring into Kagari or Shizuku, they can't use their effects, or vice versa. If you destroy their Kagari, they then bring back Ray. Ray can't use its effect to tribute itself to go into another monster because it's used its effect to bring itself back from grave. So it very, very much slows down the game for them completely. Invoked Mech Bar ×2, 1 Raijin, 1 Purgatrio, 1 Alistair Invoker Manist. Because we made the Gamma Engine, 1 Omega. If you get Ash during your starting turn, being able to rip another one from your opponent's hand is always going to be important. The 1 Nightmare Phoenix, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, the 1 Boral Sword for game, the 1 Borolo Dragon to get past any troublesome monsters, and then we've got the small Sky Striker engine of Kagari, Shizuku, and Hayate. Hayate for the zone pointing downwards, and of course to deck thin a little bit more if you need to. Kagari to recycle during your main phase or when it's summoned. And then should you need to, Shizuku to get you that search during the end phase, and of course reduce all your opponent's monsters' attack. So that is it for the entire main deck. I will quickly go through my side deck for you guys as well. So for the side deck, I've got 2 Kaijus. Any 2 will do, but obviously Gamma Seal is the first one on your list. I've got 2 Denkos because if I'm going up against heavy back row, normal summoning Denko can really cause an issue. These can be Hatronades if you wish. We've got double Shared Ride for additional draw power, double Twin Twister to deal with any back row, triple Red Reboot to deal with any trap heavy back row, and of course triple Evenly Matched, which can be made if you wish, because of course Evenly Matched can combo off quite nicely with your Invoked, but of course I think it's a better side deck option than it is a main deck option, because I believe that going second, even with Evenly Matched, yes, can disrupt the board, but there are ways of negating it, stopping it, and putting you at a disadvantage because you can't enter your battle phase, or of course causing even more issues with your Mekk-knights, because you actually want monsters on the board for your Mekk-knights to extend your plays further forward. So it's a nice little side deck engine in should you need to. Anyway, that is it for the Invoked deck. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I'd like to see a lot more play with this deck because I thoroughly enjoy it, so hopefully we'll get some doors up for you as well. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time guys, as always, happy dueling. What's up YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, and of course don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round, so don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always guys, happy dueling.